friends, welcome to episode 177 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha, and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. Thank you for being here today. It's been like, I don't know, a month and a half since the last time I recorded. That was unplanned, as it is always, but I record as and when I can. And right now, I am completely alone in the house except for Tootie. Tootie's hanging out over there. But we are alone in the house on this Sunday. Today is September 1st, and it is also, as reminded by my Time Hop app, my Podiversary. So 8 years ago on September 1st, I recorded the first episode of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. And that is wild to me. 8 years? Bruh. So thank you all for being here. Some of you all for 8 years, which is just totally, completely, and utterly wild. Yeah. So it's September. Did I finish welcoming you guys? I don't think I did. If you're returning, welcome back. And if you're new, thanks for being here. And I hope you find something that you can connect with. Like I haven't been doing this for 8 years. Let's find some bright spots from episode 176. Aw. Okay, so I was scrolling through the comments on last episode looking for bright spots, and provided there was someone who said that their bright spot was a barbecue with their family, a family barbecue today. That was Wendy Morris. I'm pretty sure that Wendy's bright spot was the only bright spot that was shared, but the rest of the comments are just like encouragement to me. Like, last episode, I was talking about my mental health and things like that, and how I was, trying some new things and trying to get on the good foot, you know what I mean? And you guys were so encouraging, like sending love and positive vibes and sharing your experiences with bettering your mental health and the struggles that we be going through and such. But like, I guess today's bright spot is just you guys being here and sharing space with me. And I appreciate that so much. Like, I read all of the comments when they came through last month, but a month and change has passed. So going through them again just now was like so heartwarming. So thank you guys for being my bright spot. Now I'm all hot. Okay. Let's talk about finished crafty things. Of which there are a lot, because in this time that I have not been recording, I have been, it feels like, making nonstop, and I'm completely here for it because I love having a bunch of things that I can share with you guys because it's just so much fun. Like, look at this thing that I did. It started with some string and a hook, and now I have a whole sweater. What? Us crafty folk are magicians. For real. If you could see this giant pile next to me, it legitimately looks like a laundry pile of crafty things. And I'm not mad about it. Okay. So all of these are finished objects. I'm proud of myself. Okay, so the first thing I have is I'm gonna go a little bit out of order because like I want to show same things together. So Yeah. So the first thing are 2 tank tops. They are my go-to summer knitting project as it has developed. My go-to knitting project used to be socks because, you know, once you get started, you're just going round and round, and it's really easy to do that when you're waiting for something, when you're in meetings, when you're doing other things, you know, just to have it and go, right? So because I don't know, I just haven't been like heavy into the sock knitting game recently, but I still wanted to have something that was simple, that I could basically go round and round. She goes where she stops, we kind of know. But I wanted to have something like that, and then also something that would use 1 skein of yarn, because I'm a notorious single skein buying girly. And with those single skeins, I can basically only make a pair of socks, you know? So I wanted to find something else that I could do with those single skeins, especially if they're like a special skein that I want to, like, that I bought for a special reason, and I want to use the yarn, I want to see the yarn, whatever like that. So my summer go-to project has been the Summer Secret Crop by Jessie Mae Martinson. If you're a returning viewer, you have seen me make this pattern 17 million times. And by 17 million, I mean like 5. But I have 2 more to add to my collection. And even though I try to do the same modifications every time, I never wrote them down. So they're different every time. Bless my heart. So this is my anniversary tank. I got this yarn during Lamar and my 10th anniversary trip in June. And I got this from a yarn shop in South Florida. Which one was it? I think it was Sheep Thrills. Yes, it was Sheep Thrills. This is the yarn shop where I got this beautiful yarn. I loved it because it's very much our wedding colors. Our wedding colors were green, blue, and yellow. So I have a little tank top. I did run out of yarn on the back, which seems to be reoccurring for me. So something I'm doing is different to what I had been doing before, because I didn't used to run out of yarn on the straps, but now I am. So I knit the, I think it's the 3rd size in the pattern. And I knit the body straight for 13 inches, and then I do the back ribbing for 1 inch, and then I do my decreases. I think one of the things that I'm doing for the decreases is, in the pattern, she has you do 1 set of decreases and then a second type of decrease. I'm cutting out the second decrease set. So yeah. And then I crocheted across the top, and then I crochet the straps instead of doing the, I think they're I-cord straps that are written in the pattern. I just do crochet straps because that's what I want to do, and I'm a grown-up. So we've got that one. The ends are not woven in. I haven't worn it yet, but I will get around to weaving in the ends. And then I have this one. This one's ends are woven in, so go Kalisha. Also ran out of yarn back here. Hello? The TV just turned on. I guess Casper wants to watch the news. Whatever. So this yarn is... Why is it so loud? BRB. We're back. Same pattern, same modification, and yeah, But this yarn I got, I think 6 years ago, when Lamar and I went to New Orleans for his birthday. I got this yarn at the Quarter Stitch in, yes, I got this yarn at the Quarter Stitch. I also bought some beads and made some stitch markers to have as souvenirs from that trip. I did a streetcar, the steamboat, and I think a fleur-de-lis. I have no idea where those stitch markers are, but I made them. They exist somewhere here. But yeah, I'm so glad that I finally used this yarn. I also haven't worn this yet, but I'm glad that I was able to use it, you know, to actually make it into something instead of having it just chilling there in my collection. Now I can wear the memory, which is nice. Speaking of using the special yarn, Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet is starting a make-along, which I think starts today, September 1st, called the Fancy Yarn Mal. And what she means by fancy yarn is whatever yarn that you have in your collection that is special to you. So she was saying fancy yarn doesn't mean it has to be expensive yarn or like some sort of, I don't know, super crazy ingredient. That's not it. Fiber. It can just be something that is special to you, that you use for this make along. So had I waited, this would have been a perfect entry for that make along. But I am so happy to have both of these done and ready to be worn in my wardrobe. One of the benefits of living in Florida, I can wear stuff like this basically all year. So that's fun. They will get used, they will get worn. Yeah. Let's see. All right, next we have the anniversary socks. So we'll just do all the socks. So these are my anniversary socks. I call them anniversary socks because this was yarn that I also got at the yarn shops during our 10th anniversary road trip. I talked about it in an episode shortly after it happened, but one of the things that Lamar did for our anniversary was, as we were traveling to our destination, he planned to stop at different yarn shops along the way. And I was just like, I guess I'll keep him. But this yarn is from Knit or Not Yarns. And I need a pair of socks. So these socks I did afterthought heels. So you would have, if you're a returning viewer, you would have seen the body of these socks done, but I finally got around to doing the heels. So I've got two heels. I followed the Kirby Werby afterthought heel method, which I don't think it's anything particularly like unique about it. It's a true afterthought heel, so you don't put any waist yarn in. You just kind of mark where you want the heel to go. And I think the special thing that is done in the Kirby Werby method is that instead of like when you cut the yarn, instead of weaving it like not weaving it out, instead of unpicking it all the way to the edge, you leave like 3 stitches. You stop unweaving 3 stitches before you get to the edge. That way this doesn't create a hole. And that little bit of stitching doesn't affect the fit of the heel or anything. It doesn't feel weird or anything like that. So yeah, I don't think the ends are woven in here either because that's how I roll. But when I did these afterthought heels, I was like, all right, we are in afterthought heel energy, so let's go. So I did these. All of the socks that I'm going to show you, you would have seen the tubes done, but I've just now gone back and done the heels. So heels there, and those heels. So now I have 3 pair of finished socks ready to go into the sock drawer. Yes, I was working on these socks. I think I was working on this one not last Saturday, but the Saturday before that, because I went to, what's it called? Yarn Lounge. Yarn Lounge is kind of like a little, not kind of, it is a yarny gathering that happens in Orlando. It's put on by Olive and 2U, and they have vendors and things, and you know, all the yarny folk in Florida get together and meet up at this I can't say that word, brewery. But just to hang out and knit, crochet together, oogle, squeeze some yarn, you know how it goes. But I had intended to go and then totally forgot that it was happening. And then I think the morning of, Hannah sent me a text message and was like, hey, I'm going to Yarn Lounge. And I was like, oh man, I totally forgot about it. So I quickly like grabbed, I got one of the tickets, and like tickets to just attend were no charge, but if you wanted to be like entered for prizes and different things like that, there was a charge for those, I believe. Or like goodie bags, I think, something. But I got one of the free tickets and like threw stuff in my bag and skedaddled down that way. So it was really cool. I got to see her. Here's a picture of us. So hi, Hannah. I love it when I get to hang out with my yarny friends. And every time Hannah and I see each other, which typically happens at Yarn Lounge or what's the thing in January? Distaff Day. We're always like, we need to get together more often. And isn't that the thing that like all adult friends say? Like, we need to get together more often. And then it's the next time that the big thing happens that you see each other. But I'm just glad that, you know, we have that friendship where we can get together and see each other and have fun and talk about yarny things. And it's a good time. Oh, I have not talked this much since last Friday. All right, so I feel like I should be checking these things off. Check, check, check. All right, so let's talk about this some garments. All right, so I've got 3 finished garments here. We're not talking about the ends. Don't say nothing about my ends, okay? So 2 crochet and 1 knit. I'm going to show you the crochet ones because those have sense. This knit one is shenanigans and tomfoolery. So this, I'm calling it my, what am I calling it? My Land and Sea hexagon cardigan. Which way is up? This way. I bought this yarn, I don't know, maybe at the beginning of the year. I was in Michael's and I forget exactly what kind of yarn this is. I want to say it's like Loops and Threads Impressions or something, but it's one of those yarns that blends, like fades from one color to the other, a little bit ombre. It's kind of, it's very marled in the colors. But I just loved the way it looked. And originally I was going to do a shawl, but I started working on the shawl and I was like, nah, I hate this. So I put the yarn aside, and then like, I don't know, maybe a month ago, I was looking at it and I thought, you know what, we're going to do a hexagon cardigan. And I really want a hexagon cardigan in a lighter weight yarn. However, I just feel like I don't have patience for that. I don't. So big, bulky hexagon cardigans is the way that I'm living my life these days. So I did, you know, the split color and then opposite color cuffs and opposite color bottom border. Hem, that's the word, not bottom border. I wore this to work already and my coworkers really liked it. It's actually, because it's so thick yarn, such thick yarn, the spaces between the granny stitches are really wide, so it's very breezy, which is pretty good for, you know, Florida, especially because these last couple weeks it has just been in the 90s, just unbearably hot. Like, the sun is looking at us directly with both eyes, not squinting at all. Just so because it's that hot outside, the air conditioning in all the buildings has been working overtime. So that's why I always have cardigans and sweaters on the go, because it's winter on the inside. So there's that guy. I really like it. I'm glad that I finished it. And I did use up all of this yarn. So that is yarn out of the stash. The next finished object I'm really excited about. The only thing, I'm not sure that it's 100% finished, because I'm kind of playing around with the idea of maybe changing the sleeves. Not sure, but for where it is, I think we're okay. Uh-oh. All right, so hair, shirt, get it together, get it together. You see, like, the sleeves are really big. I like them big like this, but I think it's the length that's wrong. Not sure. Anyhow, this open front cardigan is a design of my own. I've got two different lace patterns. They're like crochet shell stitches. And I started this cardigan because I wanted to have something light, lacy, and white to wear on top of, like, my dresses and stuff when I go to church. So what do makers do when there's something that they need? I can make that. So, you know, it took me I started it and then I put it down. So I don't know, I think I was working on this for about a month as well. But I really enjoy it. I think it's really nice. The more I think about it, I think I am going to change the sleeves. I don't know how I'm going to change the sleeves or what exactly I'm going to do to change them up, but I think they need an adjustment. But I will wear it, like, to church with one of my dresses this way first, so that I can see how it looks, like, in finality, and then I'll make the like end decision about them. But I really like it. This yarn is Bernat Softy Baby Cotton. Yes. And the colorway name is Cotton as well. I really liked working with this yarn. I am considering making another cardigan using this yarn. It's very light. It was very nice to work with. Love it. Oh, also with this cardigan, there's no shaping. It's only rectangles. And I worked the back of this cardigan during our like back to school colloquium at work. This stitch marker marks how long it was on the first day of colloquium, and it's basically all day meetings. and not even like meetings where you have to do stuff. It's just you're sitting like lectures. So this is where it was when I started Colloquium, and I crocheted the whole back and the sleeves. So, and that was over 2 days. Yeah, 2 days worth of meetings. Plus, you know, crocheting at home and stuff. But a lot of that work was done during the meetings. Now, it's time for some absolute shenanigans. So, this is a Raglan pullover that I knit using the K and C yarn at Joann. They recently came out with this. Do I have a loose ball of it close by? Not close by. They recently came out with this yarn that is, I want to say it's a superwash merino. This may also have nylon in it. Can't remember off the top of my head. However, beautiful yarn, beautiful colors. It is a single, so bear that in mind. Yeah, so I saw this green and I was completely enamored with it, of course, because I do love all things green. And so I bought, I think this took maybe 4 skeins, as you can probably tell because of the color issues. All of this yarn was the same dye lot because I definitely check. If there's a dye lot number listed, I'm checking. I wouldn't have had so much issue if there were not knots in this yarn. 1 skein of this yarn, and it's a ball like this big. I wish I had, I saw the extra ball earlier, and I don't know where Kalisha put it, but in 1 ball, I had 6 knots. 6. And that's why we have such strong color differences, especially this space right here in the middle. Like, ooh, this has been done for, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 months. And I can't bring myself to wear it because this irritates the mess out of me. And usually I'm not that big, like I don't have that big like issue with like flashing or, you know, color issues, things like that, because I'm like, it's yarn. If it's a hand dyed yarn, I'm expecting that to happen. I'm not expecting a flat color, but so part of me wants to pick up above this light band and below it, rip this out and then bring this together and it just be a shorter piece. But I can't bring myself to do it. So I'm still brainstorming solutions. But the fun thing about this top is that I did it bottom up. It's a bottom up raglan, and I wanted to know if I could do that because like the structure of a raglan is you are basically doing like your even increases that come down like this at 4 points, and then you, depending on, you know, the fit that you want, you can have those decreases or those increases that come down, and then you can join them immediately to each other, or you can cast on stitches underneath the armpit and then work straight down from there. So I thought, well, if I flip that and I work up, then all I would have to do for the armpits, what did I do? I can't even remember, y'all. Okay, right. I worked up, and then when I got to the length that I wanted for the body, I cast on all of the stitches for the armholes. So I added in all of those stitches and then did decreases at the beginning and end of those armpit stitches. So I was decreasing up this way until I got to, you know, like the neck opening width that I wanted. And then I did my ribbing and cast off. It worked. It did. It was great. The only thing is when I cast on the extra stitches for the arms, having all of those additional stitches made it really, really wonky to knit. So while I can do a bottom-up raglan, I'm not going to. But it was a fun experience, a fun experiment, and I would be much happier with this piece if it was not for the yarn choosing violence. Yeah, check that off. It's been 30 minutes and I'm not even done with finished objects yet. This is madness. All right, the next finished objects that I have are little projects. I have a lot of little projects that I was working on over the last month because Akira of the Knitting Annihilator podcast and I are still doing our Disney Twisted Tale buddy reads. And this past month we read Mulan. What was the Mulan one called? Reflection. We read the Mulan book, and I wanted to have small projects that I could start and finish within the space of the book. So I was trying to come up with like, okay, what can I make that is actually useful? That's not just, you know, something to make to say that I made a thing. And I did this. It's a headband. I tend to wear my hair back pretty much all the time in some kind of scrunchie, hair tie, some situation like that. So I did a little granny stitch hair tie, headband, tieable headband. I really like it. I thought that it was a really quick and easy, almost mindless project. And I love those. I love those because I can be crocheting while I'm reading or while I'm listening. And it's a good time. So that's a teeny tiny project. Another one of the small projects that I have been working on are these scrunchies. If you watch Passionate Kelsey, one of the things that she makes for her shop are scrunchies like this. And I have gotten into, like, I've been binge watching her videos for like the last few months, and the scrunchies are just so cute. So I had some of this chenille yarn from the Dollar Tree in my stash. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can make them. I never thought about making them for real because my locks are so thick. But when I tried that, this is a regular size scrunchie. So I can get maybe like half of my hair into one of these and it not be, you know, too tight. And then I was like, Kalisha, just use your big old scrunchies that you use for your, like, for your hair. So I have like the giant thick hair scrunchies and I just crocheted around that. So that's fun. I have a bunch of these. I want to make some more. So I'll be making just a couple more of these just to have and feel fancy sometimes. So that was fun to make. The next finished object that I have comes with a video. So as you know, if you're a returning viewer, you know that I have been making little hats for my Grinch stuffed animal that I have in my office. So every month he gets a new hat that has something to do with that month. So I, changed the hat. Like July, he had one that was like beach themed, so the top was yellow, and then it had like sky blue in the middle, and then the brim was like a tan like sand. June, he had red, black, and green for Juneteenth. Well, I didn't do one for January because it was still Christmas stuff that I had up. February was hearts for Valentine's. March was a clover for St. Patrick's Day. April, what did I do for April? Easter colors. May had a flower on it. June was Juneteenth. July was the beach. And so August, I had a special request from my coworker Renna, because her birthday is in August. She was like, can you make it blues? Because blue is her favorite color. So I made a special blue hat for Mr. Grinch so that to celebrate Renna's birth month. And she wanted to do the changing of the hats. So here's a video of the changing of the hats for August. And yeah, I thought it was so cute that she wanted to do that. I'm gonna have to be careful when I make things for my office to not make them like blue or a color that she likes, because she will steal things from my shelves and with no remorse. She'll just be like, oh, this is mine. And it is. It's gone. All right. So the last 4 types of finished objects that I have are book related. So like I mentioned, Akira and I have been doing this buddy read, I don't know, for like 5 months now, I think, something like that. And I've mentioned this before, but she has been getting like so excited about reading, and her excitement is spilling over onto me, and it's reinvigorating my love for reading. Like as a kid, I was always that, kid who had a book. She nose in a book girl. Like if I was staying after school, after my like whatever activity was over, I would walk to the public library and my parents would have to pick me up from there. Like the librarians knew me. I was always in this one spot in the children's library downstairs, just in my little happy place by myself, introverting. Like I think back on myself as a kid and I'm like, nobody I'm not surprised that this is the adult that I am. Ooh, I was such an introvert. What else? I loved writing. I was always writing stories, writing in journals. Like the reading and the writing was my happy place. And I don't know when it fell to the wayside. Probably after college graduation, because throughout college, high school and college, I really fell in love with poetry. So I was always reading poetry, always consuming poetry. And there was always some reading that was going on in my life. And then after I graduated, it just fell off. And I feel like it's probably, the being an adult and working and stuff like that and having these other things that you have to think about, that you kind of lose track of doing things that you love to do just for the love of doing them. So I am relearning and reintroducing myself to the love of reading. And all that being said, let's look at my reading finished objects. So this is the first thing. This is a book sleeve that I made specifically for, I returned that book to the library. I read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and when I got the book from the library, I don't know what it was about the texture of the front of the book, but I hated it. Did not want to touch it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep it in a book sleeve, which was great, you know, but then I was like, I got to take it out of the book sleeve all the time whenever I want to read it. And then I'm touching it and like, I even had Lamar hold it and be like, does this feel weird to you? And he was like, no. So it was definitely a Kalisha thing. So then to solve that problem, I made a book cover. And this one is all unfinished because I did another version of it that works a lot better. But I basically just made a book sleeve. So it's just one long panel of granny stripe, and then I folded the ends in, seamed the top and the bottom, so you have pockets for the covers of the book to go in. Where is the updated one? Hello? I literally just had it and was like, keep this nearby because you're going to be talking about this. What the heck? Ah, there it is. So here is version 2. Version 1 I made of cotton, and I also made it way too big. So version 2, I decided to use acrylic. This is the Just yarn from the Dollar Tree. It took me 2 skeins of that yarn to make this piece. I also made the pockets deeper and made it considerably shorter so that it would actually stretch around the book. And then I did a bookmark. So it has its own little built-in bookmark, and I really liked it. Yeah. This book that's in it right now has like a regular plastic cover, so it wasn't an issue, but covering my book with something yarny just feels like the right thing to do. You know what I mean? So there's that. And then I have bookmarks that I made because why not? So I have this one. And I feel like making bookmarks was a nice way to explore using different crochet edgings and lace stitches. This one is just you can kind of see it. This one is just a V-stitch and single crochets on the top and bottom. But it gave me a small space to try out different types of lace stitches that I might want to put on something else. Things that I just wanted to try out but didn't really have a reason to. Bookmark. Let's see. And the last bookish finished object I have is this little tote bag. So look at the little pocket. All right, so story time. The internet be listening. So after I started reading more and like looking up more books, like reading recommendations on books, watching bookish videos on YouTube, Instagram was like, oh, bet she's getting into reading. Let's give her more reading ads. That's fine, whatever. So I get an ad about it was like some book company or whatever. And one of the things that they sold was a crochet mesh tote bag. And it had, like it was mesh, and then it had a strip of solid crochet around like the middle, and then it had book bag stitched onto it. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. I can make that. So I added it to my list of things to make, like when I got around to it. And so one day I grabbed this yarn from my stash. This is actually yarn that I found at a thrift store. It's cotton, like Lily Sugar and Cream or Peaches and Cream with the cottons, you know. And I picked them up and I started crocheting, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do a front square, a back square, side pieces, and then a bottom. And then your straps, whatever like that. And as I'm like brainstorming this, I go on Instagram again and I'm scrolling and I see the exact same thing, right? Basically like laid out almost exactly the way that I was like picturing as a pattern by Shanakay Salmon. So if you would like to make a book bag, not exactly like this, because hers doesn't have a pocket, and I think it's fully mesh all the way around, but she does, one of them has like a solid square in the middle where you can put a patch, or you can do a stripe of solid crochet across the middle to do like words or a longer patch or something like that. But I will link her pattern down below, so if you don't want to figure it out yourself, there you go. But yeah, so I made this tote bag. The reason that we've got two-tone green on here is because my thrifted yarn ran out, so I had to stash dive. So I just got another green. It's fine. It's mine. We're going with it. Where's my book? I have not taken this out in the street yet. Put your feet in, book. But I'm excited to. I will have so much fun with this. I imagine myself going to, you know, like a bookstore or a coffee shop with my notebooks and my knitting or crochet and my reading book and getting like a chai or an iced coffee and just chilling and enjoying my afternoon. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to figure out when I can do that in between my work hours, because these coffee shops be only open during the time that I'm at work. Like, come on. Come on. There is, from where I live, there are at least 4 little, you know, little coffee shops in the area. Only one of them is open on Sundays. And the one that's open on Sundays is not the chill, read a book kind of coffee shop. It's the hip coffee shop, meet your friends and do stuff energy. Like, why aren't y'all open on Sunday? Cozy little house coffee shop. It's all right though. We press on. So yeah, picture me gallivanting with my book bag is what I'm saying. All right, so that brings us to the end of all of our finished objects. My gosh, that was a lot. I could probably just end the podcast here. I won't do that though. I am going to skip the works in progress and probably, yeah, we're going to skip works in progress. We're going to skip stash positions. And we're going to go right on to Kalisha and the Babe, because there's some finished type objects in there as well that I'm really excited about. I got to get my my spinning box from under the table. Okay, so July was Tour de Fleece, and I participated. I didn't finish all of my goals, but I finished some of them. So here is one of my finished goals. This is a 2-ply yarn that I spun on my electric eel wheel. What yarn was, or what fiber was this? This was from Merla Fibers, and it came out really inconsistent because as I was spinning, I was pulling out bits that I didn't want to be in the finished yarn. But yeah, there's that. I thought nuh-uh. Oops. I'm so confused because as I'm showing you all this, in my mind, I had a memory of scanning it up and measuring it. And I'm like, how is it back on here? It's because I have two. So this one, it's the same fiber. It is Merla Fibers, Superfine Merino, and Bamboo. This is 72 yards, and I guess this one I didn't measure. I don't know what past Kalisha was doing, but they're together. So assuming that they're the same, I will end up with 144 yards. I would say that it's probably, I'm going to treat it as a worst, like a sport weight. Which bigger, sport or DK? Whichever one of those is bigger is what I'm going to treat it as when I decide what I'm going to make with it. It gives me a little bit of fall with the colors. It also gives me McDonald's. There's that. So this is the only yarn that I totally finished during Tour de Fleece. I have this, which is my handmade resin spindle. And I was spinning Rolags with this. I got tired of spinning this on the spindle and decided to move it to my eel wheel. So here it is on the wheel. And yeah, so I was spinning, I think I did half of it on the drop spindle, and then I just moved on to the wheel because I got tired of doing the drop spindle. I have not picked these up since July. There's that. The last finished object that I have for Kalisha and the Babe, my spinning section, is my finished sunflower spindle. So that is the finished spindle. She is beautiful. I love it so much. And I'm using it the same way as I was using the other spindle, where I just lock it on, lock the leader or the fiber on like that, and then you can spin it. Because it's kind of off center with the way that that locks on, it does wobble a lot. So I might, brainstorm some ways to maybe fix that. But if anything, it's a beautiful showpiece. Like, she's gorgeous. So those are my spinning finished objects. Back into the spinning box they go. And yeah. let's see. What else can I share with you guys? So because I've gotten into, like, I'm getting back into reading, I decided to add a new section to the podcast called Spin Me a Yarn, right? Because it's like storytelling. I think it's cute. But I wanted to have a place in the podcast that I can tell you guys about the books that I'm reading and enjoying, the things that I'm getting up to, like the bookish things that I'm getting up to with Akira, since she is my go-to reading buddy now. And, you know, different little bookish things that I get into. So throughout the month of August, there was I think it was actually throughout the month of July and August. But anywho, there was a Orlando independent bookstore tour that was happening. And you could basically, I think it were 6 or 7 stores that were participating, and you could go to any of those stores and get a little passport. And at each store, they would give you a stamp. And when you finished all of your stamps, you could turn your passport in for the chance to be entered into a drawing, right? I had so much fun going to the different stores, and all of them were new to me except for 3. So 3 of the stores I had been in, you know, before, but the rest of the stores were completely new to me. And I had a lot of fun exploring the different stores, seeing what they had, getting a little something from each store for my new book collection. Here's a picture of the books and goodies that I got during the tour. I didn't win a prize, but we're also not surprised by that because I never win prizes. But I was able to familiarize myself with some really, really adorable bookstores in the area. I think the farthest one I went to was in Kissimmee, and that was like a 45-minute to an hour drive away, which part of me was like, girl, are we really driving all of this way just to go to a bookstore and get a stamp? Yes, because I must complete the collection. Like, one thing about me, if I start a collection or something, I have to finish it. There's no other way about it. It must be completed, or we're gonna hate it. But anyway, so I have those books that are on my shelf to read. I have been, like, I've always been, you know, actively going to the library and checking out books and stuff, but for the most part, my stomping grounds in my local libraries are the like the craft sections, the maker sections in the library. And one thing that I'm enjoying about reading more is it's pushing me outside of like my comfort space in the library. And like I said, it's bringing me back to that younger Kalisha who was just haunted the libraries. So I am currently reading, actually, I just finished Black Candle Women by Diane Marie Brown. That's the book that's in here. I just finished this last night. So this is the book that I just finished. It was okay. The thing that irritated me the most in this book was how terrible the family's communication was. And whenever I would get annoyed by that, I would think like, but that's a real thing. You know, we always assume that the communication that we're giving, like the message that is being transmitted from us, is the same as the message that's being received by whoever we're communicating with. And a lot of times it's not. And one thing that I have, noticed and learned about people is that on a almost a blanket scale, we don't consider how our messages are being received, and a lot of times I'll hear people say things like, oh, it's not my job to make sure that you understand what I'm saying, or I can't help it if you don't understand. Yes, you can. So like whenever I have something that I need to communicate to another person, or if I have something that I really want to talk about, I'm very considerate about what I'm saying, as well as how what I'm saying can be interpreted. And I feel like if we in general approached communication with that kind of mindset of what am I saying, how am I saying it, and how can what I'm saying be received, like the miscommunications and stuff that was happening in this book would definitely be lessened. They wouldn't be completely, gotten rid of, because people are people and we're gonna misunderstand each other. But if they took a little bit of extra time to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, or this is why I'm doing the thing I'm doing, and just take 5 minutes and be like, let me pump the brakes. Let me make sure that we're on the same page. This book would have been 3 pages long if they had said, you know what, let's all have a family meeting and get on the same page. Book been done. But I'm glad that they finally got on the good foot talking to each other, but it definitely made me feel like families, we need to be like families, like birth families and chosen families. We need to be more willing to consider both ends of communication. But it was an okay book. I don't know if I would recommend, like I wouldn't run out and be like, oh my gosh, you have to read this book. But like, yeah. I gave it 3 stars. I feel like that was generous. But the next 2 books that I have on my, or 3 books that I have on my list to be read is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. And I just started listening to Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. And I might stop listening to it. I don't know. I'm a couple chapters in, and it might just be the reader that's making me go, or the narrator. But I don't know. I'm gonna give it more chance. But Akira had asked me what kind of books I like. And I was telling her I'm really enjoying Afrofuturism. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I'm always looking for books that are in that genre. Afro fantasy. So I enjoy fantasy-based books, but if you make all of the characters Black and put them, like, it doesn't even have to be in Africa, but if like your main characters are Black and it's like fantasy, like they have dragons, I love it because it is a space that you don't normally see Black characters, and I just, I can't say anything else other than I love that. I am a little bit sad that I have basically read all of Nnedi Okorafor's books. I have run out. I'm so sad. But her books I loved. So I'm always looking for Black authors, authors of color, minority authors, because I want to read more stories, you know? And I want to read characters that I can relate to as a Black person, you know? In Black Candle Women, there was a point where one of the characters was talking about how she was trying to catch a guy's eye, and so she decided to straighten her hair. And the way that she was straightening it was with a hot comb that you put on a stove. And the writer is talking about like the smell of the hot comb, and how if the guy had stood closer to her, he would have been able to smell the hot comb, like even after it being straightened. And I'm like, bro, I know that feeling. You know, I know that the sound of the hot comb going through your hair. I know the feeling of holding my ear when my mom is over here pressing my hair, but I'm holding this ear because I'm just that scared, right? I don't know what I thought she was gonna do, but you know, I know the smell of it, the feeling of getting the hairs on the back of your neck straightened, and you're just praying, please don't burn me. Like, and to have that character talking about the experience of her auntie straightening her hair because, you know, she wanted to catch this boy's eye. It was a, like, and I get it, you know, like that's a shared experience. It's a shared experience within, from me to the book character. And being able to have those experiences in books is so invaluable. Like being able to see yourself or someone in your family, or, you know, someone that you could, like, that you would know, you know, and being able to see that experience is such a special thing. So, yeah, that's why I really I put a lot of energy into looking for Black authors and other minority authors, because I want more of that in my life. So speaking of Miss Akira, I sent her a bookish happy mail a couple weeks ago, because in one of the bookstores, in one of the bookstores that I went to, they had a sticker that said emotional support Kindle, and she is now always with her Kindle. So I basically built a little happy mail box around that sticker, and she surprised me with a bookish box return, which was completely unexpected. And when I said, like, a couple minutes ago, Akira was asking me what kind of books I like, I just realized that's probably why. You a sneaky girly, Akira. But she sent me books, and two of the books she specifically tagged for buddy reads. So I don't know when we're going to buddy read these, but we have our September book, our September Disney Twisted Tale chosen, and we're going to be reading Fate Be Changed, and that is the Brave retelling. So that's our September book. And these are the two books that she sent in the box that she had marked for buddy reads. So we have Lore of the Wilds, and I've never heard of this book, so we're excited about what's gonna happen. And then The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This book I have seen coming up in so many different videos, even people who are not book channels. Like, so this must be something good happening in here that people are loving. So she marked this one for a buddy read as well. And since it's like magical and witchy and everything, October, what do you think, Akira? You choose. But these are the 2 buddy reads she sent me. And she sent 4 other books. So like when I got this box, I was like, bro, really? But she, in her card that she sent, she said, here's the beginning of your library. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I really do need to rearrange shelves. Aside from the fact that in November, we got to bring out all of my Grinchy stuff, which typically takes up all of this space. I need bookshelves because your girl is reading and I need space for them. So yeah, I might be getting a new bookshelf. But in addition, I'm not going to pull out everything that she put in this box because girl went a little bit ham. But I want to show you the card because isn't that beautiful? This will be framed. And she sent me these magnetic bookmarks, and the note on it says, because Florida. Yeah, Florida. And then she sent me a bookmark pen, and she said because it reminded her of Tootie, because it's covered with dogs. Oh, Tootie went to her bed. She's got her face down in the covers and everything. Like she done worked a hard day. Bless her heart. So we've got little erasable bookmark pen, which is really cool. Florida bookmarks, Florida bookmarks. And then this one says, these are cute. And this one says, hold that thought, fell asleep here. Sleep is good, books are better. Read between the lines. So I have so many bookmarks. That means I can read all of these books. That's one thing that I can't do. I can't read a bunch of different books at the same time. I think right now, I think I've read 2 different books at the same time, but I'm a one at a time. I'm a monogamous book girl. But I have all the different bookmarks. I got handmade bookmarks. We got magnetic bookmarks. I got an ink pen bookmark. I got spacey bookmarks in the other room, and still bookmark my books with ripped pieces of paper. Why am I like this? Anywho, that's enough bookish stuff. I did write some things down for Plant Mama Life and whatnot. The Plant Mama Life has been on the low, and that's because it's 1,000,000 degrees outside, and most of my plants have been moved outside to enjoy the summer humidity and stuff like that. And it's just easier to water them out there. But in addition to them living out there and enjoying the humidity and stuff, they're also running the risk of getting sunburned. And there's like nothing I can do about it because there is nowhere I can put these plants where the sun isn't going to touch them, aside from bringing them back inside. The frustration is real. But it is on my list to do a big plant overhaul, like repotting, cleaning up their pots, cleaning them up, and figuring how I can bring them back into my space, because I do miss having plants, all around me. I have a couple plants in front of me on the desk. Most of them are my cacti, like cacti and euphorbias, and a poor little plant that got sunburned, so I had to bring it inside and we're trying to rehab it. But I miss having all of the greenery behind me, so we'll be getting back into that soon. Let's see. Our school semester starts on Tuesday. I'm so tired, y'all. I need a vacation. I really do. Like, I'm so glad that tomorrow is a holiday, but I need like a week. I need a whole week where I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be anything. I don't have to be on. I just need a veg out week to just do whatever my heart tells me to do, to go wherever my energy wants to go, and just be. Because when I tell you the last couple months have been, not even couple months, the last month has just been stressful. But you know, we keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep moving forward. That is the mantra. That is what we do here. Yeah. I started journaling again, so that's great. I'm very inconsistent with it, but I started it, and I have written in it numerous times. So good job, Kalisha. Keep it up. But we're trying to lean into doing the things that make me happy, doing the things that I enjoy, spending time by myself, spending time with friends. I'm trying to build up good energy so that whenever I do have those times that are extra stressful, it doesn't take me so far down. You know what I mean? Because stress be whooping my tail, I tell you. But that's everything, guys. Well, that's not technically everything. I do have works in progress. I do have stash positions and things, but this episode is entirely too long. So there's that. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Happy 8 years of, wait, so if it was 8 years ago today, that means this is my 9th birthday, right? No, 8. I don't know how time works. 8th birthday. Happy 8th birthday, Quirky Monday. Woo! Hopefully we will continue to be able to share with you guys the different little things that I make, the different little things that I get into. Hopefully the Spin Me a Yarn reading section will be a like a permanent fixture on the podcast, because I'm just having a good time with it, you know? But yeah, leave me a book recommendation. What was the last book that you read that you would recommend to someone? Because, you know, I'm still trying to find my happy place in reading, like the genre that really is that yes spot, you know what I mean? So leave me book recommendations, leave me bright spots. Yeah, I think that's everything. So thank y'all for being here, like I said before, and thank you for being a part of my universe. Bye, friends.